Hello and welcome to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Ender 3 Pro board version 1.1.5 that has some upgraded stepper drivers in it and claims to make the Ender 3 virtually silent. It's about $23.99, so not exactly the most expensive mod you could do. And we're going to do some tests before and after and show how we're fitting it to see how it does. So with no further ado, roll those credits. So we're now going to hear the Ender starting to print. There's no filament in this, so this is just running dry, which is fine. You can hear some whirring in the background, which is actually my Taz, but you can hear that it's not a fantastically loud printer anyway. But what I really want to do is try and quieten this down as much as humanly possible. So you can hear there's some noise in the bed. There's some noise in the X and the Y, and there'll also be a little bit of noise from the extruder as well. So you can hear just that high-pitched whir. We've already put a Noctura fan in the front of this, so that's helped with part cooling, but it's also helped with the noise from the machine as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop this now, because I don't need that printing anymore. We're just going to give this a few minutes to cool down, and then we will see what we can do about getting the machine open and starting to change out the board. Just to be clear, as we said before, this here, so we'll now get into focus. This said, or not. There we go. Right, this here is the main board, the new main board, and it is a drop-in replacement. It's exactly the same as the other one. It just, as I say, just drops in. But this is claiming to be the silent board, so we will wait and see how much of a difference this makes to the new to the sound that the board that the printer made. Okay, so this is cooled down. So there are two screws that sit in the front just here. Those come out. The bed will need to be all the way back for you to get those. You then bring the bed forwards, and as you can see, there is a screw in there that we now need to get out. So I will get that out next. To Creality's credit, these are done up nice and tightly. So I'm not really at the point where I tax my Ender with speeds as yet. So I mean, I'm probably only printing at probably something like 40mm a second at the moment. Now the printer is capable of more than that, because it's, you know, it's a really solid frame and everything else. Now we have to come underneath the printer, and you can see there is one more just here. So we want to undo that one. And then this should just, one of my feet falling off there, very helpful. There we go. Come away like that. Leave that foot on the side for the moment. Okay, so that's about as sturdy as I'm going to leave it for the moment. The first thing to make sure you do is disconnect this cable here. This cable is the power cable. Obviously the printer isn't plugged into the wall anyway whilst you're working on it, because that would be insane. So the next thing is to undo these. These will remove the bottom portion of the plate, which should allow you free access to the main board. There's one here as well. There we go. And this just unplugs, and this is just the top plate with the fan in it. So we'll put that to one side for the moment. Now, as you can see, this is the current main board in this. What we're going to do is we're just going to pop all of these off. As with the CR10, for anyone who's seen inside, all of these are nicely labelled anyway, so you shouldn't have to worry about figuring out which one is which. Of course, in saying that, that does quite clearly look like the two thermistors are different, and we don't want to get those mixed up. This end one here is the extruder temperature, so I just want to get a little bit of tape and mark that one up. Found my tape. Right, so as you can see, these two here are both the same. They're both thermistors, and they are the bed readout temp. They're the temp readouts for your hot end and your bed. I'm going to mark my extruder with some tape so that I know which one it is, and I will start unplugging the remainder of these. Very annoyingly, that appears to have... So this is something you have to be so careful with when you're doing it. I've just made a mistake there, because if you can actually see, hold on. This is the plug that's come away with the actual holding, which is obviously bad. Now, a sensible person, and I truly hope you're a sensible person, would have, I don't know, put this on a flat surface or something along those lines. I've decided to go a different way, which, as you can see, is precariously balancing it on the side of my desk here. Why have I done that? Well, if the honest answer is because it's exactly 1 billion degrees in here and I'm an immensely lazy person. Will it harm the printer? Maybe. I would highly advise against not doing it, but as you can see, I'm not going to do anything to correct the behaviour, which really is tells you all you need to know about me, I would have thought. Right, that is the board coming away. So, as you can see, this one here is the old main board, and just next to it, this is the new main board. This is version 1.4, and the one I will be putting in its place is version 1.5. So it is an updated board. As I said before, I assume that they have probably put TMC 108s or 109s in it. It's important to note that the Ender does not come with a bootloader, which means flashing something like, you know, if you had a 32-bit board, flashing Marlin 2.0 or something like that isn't as simple as just stick it in and flash it. Pro tip, make sure you have removed your SD card, otherwise when you pull this out you will cause yourself some problems. It's not important how I know this pro tip. There are, however, several broken boards sitting in my cupboards that will attest to my inability to, for some reason, take this very simple step. So I'm just taking out the last screw that holds this bed in at the moment. He said. No, I'm not, because there's one more. Boy, they didn't want this moving, did they? Okay. So, with that off, I will now install the new board. I don't know if Creality's plan is to start shipping the Ender 3 Pros with these upgraded boards, or whether they just intend to sell it or continue to sell it as a drop-in upgrade kit. Theoretically, you could debate that better drivers could potentially improve your print quality. I think that that's fairly unlikely. Otherwise, Creality would have touted that as a reason to upgrade. These boards come pre-flashed with Marlin as well. So you haven't got to do anything. This should just be a drop-in replacement for what you already had. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, new board is installed. SD card slot is nice and lined up, so we won't have any issues there. We are now going to start reinstalling all of the parts. Now, I always do my my cables that I have to screw in first, because they are normally the most awkward. It's important to note that you must make sure that when you do these things that you are tightening everything up nice and tightly. Creality, when they ship a lot of these, they do tend to hot glue down their plugs and ports. Theoretically, if anything is tugging on your cables enough to make that a necessity, there is a bigger problem at play than just a little bit of a tug, because your cables shouldn't be so short that they're really tugging that much at your it shouldn't be tugging on these cables, so they shouldn't really experience any pressures like that. Just getting in my... These are the... I think this is the 12 volt supply for the fan. We'll then have the heated beds. And finally we have the hot ends. I'm going to twist these cables up just so they go in nicely, and do these one at a time. Okay, so as you can see from here, we have in our power supply, we have in our 12 volt fan, we have in our heated bed, and we have in our extruder. So now we will start by plugging in our two thermistors first. 2 thermistors going in there. This is a fan rail as well. This will be my part cooling fan, I would imagine. You can probably not see on the video, but these are labelled down here as to what stops they refer to. This one is my Z stop, which goes in there. And we then have our ribbon cable going in there. This is my X, and this one here is my Y. Right, then we're going to move on to extruder motors. So we go X, that one is E, that one is Y, and that one is Z. There we go. And that is everything plugged back in. The only reason this is unplugged is because it goes up to the Z stop up there and it was just in the way. So, we now take our cover. This is our external fan. Plugs into this port here. And then we are going to close her up. Holes line up. Screws go in. Screw falls immediately on the floor. 2 screws fall immediately on the floor. I'm noticing a theme. Third time's the charm. Okay. Just retrieve my third and final screw. That fell in the most annoying place it possibly could have done. Flip it over. This screws in there. Right. We then line everything up there. Need to tuck that under. There we go. There's another one of my feet falling off. Plug back in my Z stop. Just move that back up there whilst we put the rest of this back together. and my other screw, which is right there. Okay. I also have some anti-vibration feet that just clip onto these parts. Or at least I did have, because I can't find the last one. There it is. I will plug back in my XT60s. Flip this around so that we're facing forwards again. Plug back in the power supply. And voila! You have one functioning ender. So let's just... There we go. You can see that it's 38 degrees in my summer house, which is easily the most unpleasant thing that's ever happened. Let's put you back. See if we can pop you a bit closer forwards. There we go. And now, once we pop the SD card back in, we will see what we are looking at with regards to noise. So we've not made any changes to the hot end, we've not made any changes to the power supply or any changes to really a lot of things. So I personally wouldn't really expect the print quality to change at all. You could debate that if you've got... So, wow. That really is a night and day difference. So, you get quite good results when you change out for stepper dampeners. But this is a different level. Again, I don't know what internal stepper drivers they've put on them, but that is night and day. I mean, if I get the camera right in there, excuse the blurriness, I almost definitely can't focus that, can I? Yeah. But there is, if I put it in on this, there is nothing. No noise from the bed, no noise from Z, no noise from the X, from the Y carriage or the X or anything. That is astonishingly night and day. I'd hazard a guess to say they've put 2109s in this, but I don't know. They're internal to the board. That is an astonishing difference. I'll pop the link down in the description below. This is about 20. I think this was about a £30 upgrade. I think from Creality. It is a direct drop-in. There is no firmware flash. There is nothing different on your display. It is exactly the same interface. You literally have to take out the old board, put in the new one, and that is a huge difference. I'm going to turn this off because I don't need. Well, it's not printing because there's no filament in it. But that is astonishingly different. Okay guys, so thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, or dislike if you disliked it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Me and Mike will be doing another paint session soon, and we'll also be looking at my large model print of a lion from Magic the Gathering, and how we're going to go about painting that. Check us out for more videos, and check out the other videos that we have as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.